Just in response to the one gentleman on this side, he asked if I work for the city. I do work for the city. I'm with the planning department, and one of the projects that or the key project I've been involved with for the past year or so has been the Lansdowne project, really overseeing sort of the various initiatives that are associated with the Lansdowne revitalization to respond to the council directions that were given last April 22nd. I don't want to get into the whole length of the process, as Councillor Doucette indicated, but really focus specifically on what's been referred to as Sylvia Holden Park. I know that this particular community park has been an item that has been very, very hotly talked about within the Glebe community. The area was identified as an area that could be looked at by the park design teams who were putting in proposals in response to a request for proposals for the open space or the urban park component for the Lansdowne redevelopment. And the indication was that they could take a look at including the Sylvia Holden Park area as part of their design, with a view to provide for integration of that with a larger sort of open space component for the Lansdowne project. But it was also very clearly identified in the RFP that the existing community facilities that were accommodated within Sylvia Holden Park were extremely important to the community, and that any initiative that was taken by the design teams to take a look at that area require that the designs include those community facilities that are now currently located that Jose just walked you through. The winning design proposal that was selected by a jury comprised of 7 members, 3 representatives representing the partner agencies, the NCC, the city, and Parks Canada. And those representatives included Councillor Peter Hume, Linda DeCare from the NCC, Pam Buell from Parks Canada, and then we also had 4 design professionals on the jury who were made up of George Dark, the chairman of the Strategic Design Review and Advisory Panel, providing overview over the entire design initiatives as it related to the Lansdowne redevelopment. Also Marianne McKenna, who's also a member of that design review panel that was retained by the city, and 2 other outside professionals, landscape architects, Doug Patterson from University of British Columbia, and Larry Patterson with a consulting firm based out of Calgary, Alberta. The jury spent a few days going through the 5 proposals that were submitted in response to the RFP, and at the conclusion of the deliberations selected Proposal B. Proposal B was submitted by Phillips Vervaeg Smollenberg, landscape architects out of Vancouver, BC, and that's the proposal that is depicted on the graphic sort of aerial view that you have on my left-hand side, on your right-hand side. This particular proposal, unlike other proposals, is suggesting some modifications to what's known as the Lansdowne Community Park or Sylvia Holden Park. They are retaining all of the elements within the park, not necessarily located where they are located today. The proposal is also suggesting expanding the community function of an area of what is now Lansdowne Park to include additional elements and features that would be predominantly focused on enhancing the community nature of the community park. So the elements that are being retained in situ includes the splash pad and the play area. That's not being touched in the proposal that was submitted by Phillips Vervaeg Smollenberg, or a wading pool rather. Sorry.
The city keeps calling it a splash pad. Is it a wading pool that's proposed, or is it a splash pad?
The point is, I'm reading off the proposal that was submitted, and it indicates splash pad, but it is a wading pool, and if you look at the site plan, it's exactly where the current wading pool is located.
We know it's a wading pool now, but we're wondering what it's going to be.
The proposal by Phillips Vervaeg Smollenberg is not suggesting any changes to that.
Why does it say splash pad?
He's referring to it as a splash pad. I can't speak for him, but the depiction is exactly what is there today, along with the play structure. The baseball diamonds, 2 baseball diamonds are being retained, one pretty well where it's currently located. Another one is being located, positioned to the south of that, is actually extending into what is now the parking lot for Lansdowne Park. The basketball court is the one element that was not reflected on the proposal, and in its place it's showing a skateboard park. There's also proposed a new garden pavilion and field house that would be located centrally between the relocated baseball diamonds, or the one relocated baseball diamond in the existing. There's also proposed to be established a formal garden, children's gardens, a new carousel area, and the heirloom orchard and community garden. So those are the features that are actually expanding outside of what is now the Lansdowne Community Park and is extending into the northeast sector of what is now Lansdowne Park, or the parking lot area. I think the one thing that I would say is that the winning design that has been submitted is selected by the jury with certain recommendations for changes, but there's a whole integration process that now has to be gone through. This proposal, like many of the other proposals, responded to some elements that were set out in the RFP, did not respond fully to other elements that were set out in the RFP, and there's also, which needs to be addressed through the integration and through discussions with the landscape architecture team that was selected by the jury, and then also there's a whole integration piece that needs to happen with the other components of the Lansdowne revitalization. Mr. Smallenberg was in town last week to meet with staff and have an understanding of the materials that has been made available. And one of the key things that will be happening, and that he indicated, he's a very strong believer and advocate of working with communities and understanding community issues, needs, and concerns. And over the course of the summer, should council give the green light to this project at the end of the month, there would be extensive opportunities and dialogue that would be occurring as the urban park design is refined and further developed to respond to the various needs of the NCC, Parks Canada, the City of Ottawa, and then also the issues and the concerns that might be raised with the community with respect to the Lansdowne Community Park or Sylvia Holden Park. So what we have in front of us is a depiction of a concept for the urban park component. Certain elements the jury have recommended not go forward. Those include the island. They also include the walkway, recognizing that there's an environmental assessment that's underway to determine where the crossing over the canal would best be located. And then there's other elements that will have to be looked at and modified with further design refinements to respond to other issues that have been identified by the NCC and Parks, and also by the city, and as I said, also the whole notion of the integration with the other elements of the Lansdowne revitalization. So really what we have is a concept and a team who will now become part of the larger team that would be looking at sort of the design response to the revitalization for Lansdowne Park. And that is all material that will be developed over the course of the summer. The intent is on the end of the month to have council give its approval to sort of the directions that will be pursued from here on in, using as a base the design submitted by the landscape architect, the OSCG design, the jury comments on the park design, the design review panel comments on the OSCG piece, and there's another report that will be brought forward for council consideration speaking to integration and process issues to bring this all together through the formal site plan approval process, which would be commenced post-June. So that's basically the quick overview on that side of it. It's been a very complicated project. This is a small piece of it, but I recognize it's a very important small piece for the Glebe community, and again, Councillor Doucette very much took the initiative to try to get some understanding and sense from the community in terms of what's important for Lansdowne Community Park, and that's what this evening is all about, is to provide you that opportunity. Thank you.